Yeah. So thank you guys all for jumping on the team call tonight. You guys know we meet every Monday at 6:30, like clockwork. So tonight I actually came across a really great recording last week from this some sidelines that I have in the business, and it's Dr. Mitra, and the topic that she's discussing is belief in self. So I thought, well, I've listened to it 3 times already, and I thought that I should maybe just give you guys my nuggets, but her delivery is just amazing, and I feel like you guys will get so much more out of it from hearing it from her mouth than me trying to paraphrase what she said. But before I get into it, I want to start because belief in self is like totally, it's not just about this business. It's about way more than that. You have to believe in yourself in pretty much anything you do, or you won't be successful. That's at work, that's at home, that's in life in general. So, and then also passing that belief down to your kids so they believe in themselves with whatever they're doing. So I want to start, like I said, with just a little interaction and just hear from everybody before you listen to Mitra. And first of all, I want to know if you've ever heard of Dr. Mitra. And then the other thing I want to know is what do you feel is the biggest reason why people don't believe in them? So let's start with, I'm going to start with Ashley since she was the first one on.
I've never heard it before, and I personally think that, like, so sometimes I don't believe in myself because I'm like, no, like, I'm not one to put myself out. So that's maybe why people don't believe in themselves. That's what I think.
Okay, yeah, okay. What about Tanasia? Am I saying your name right? You're muted.
Okay, it's Tanisha. But what was the exact question?
The question was, have you ever heard of Dr. Mitra? And then the next question is, what does self-belief, or do you have self-belief in yourself, and what does it mean to you?
Okay, so yeah, I've came across a couple of videos by Dr. Mitra. I'm not sure if I fully watched one, but I think I've watched like a couple clips here and there. And as far as self-belief, I don't know. I think I'm very capable. I think I just really need to, like, once I get started and get going, I feel like that's where, like, all my, work will be seen, and, like, where I'll really be like, wow, I could do this. But for me, like, I've only been in it for a month. And so just getting started, I kind of like, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm bugging people sometimes, and I'm learning how to just have casual conversations and then like ease Juice Plus into those conversations and stuff instead of just like throwing up information on people because I like to talk a lot. But I think self-belief is definitely important because if you don't believe you could do it, then you probably can't do it. And when you believe you could do it, you'll push yourself even more and you'll see your results.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, Dr. Mitra is pretty popular in the company. So if you have seen her videos, that's good that you're branching out of just our little group here. Let's go with Nicole.
Okay, so yes, Dr. Mitra is my girl, and I actually use her the pregnancy eating for 2 for all of my clients, and so she has come in handy like time and time again to get my clients to say yes to Juice Plus for their prenatal regimen. So yes, Dr. Mitra is awesome. And then self-belief. Do I have self-belief in myself? Yes, but not all the time. So it's like, obviously that comes in waves, and whoa, dude. I think that comes in waves, and like depending on what season of life you're in, like if there's anything going on in your personal life or like financially or at work or relationships or friendships, like all that can go up and down, right? So like for me, I have issues with that where it's like I'll be on fire, and then like something will go down and then I'm just like not on fire. And it's like, oh my gosh, like this is a drag or like whatever. And so lately, like I'm sure you guys can tell, but in the last like month or so, I realized like that I am experiencing postpartum depression. And so it's been really, really tough on me, like just mentally, because I really like can only handle my family right now. So there's times where like I don't even want to text anybody back, or I don't want to Voxer anyone. I don't want to hold my team together. I don't want to like train anyone. So that is huge, like especially in this business, is that it's like when life hits you, it's really hard to keep things going. You know what I mean? But I think that there's a huge difference in like, because I still believe in myself, and I still am like, yeah, of course, like I love this stuff. I'm never gonna quit on it. You know what I mean? Or like I know I can kill it. But there's different ways to go about it. I think there's the beauty of other people believing in you too. So like our team believing in us, because if it weren't for like Crystal or the people on my team reaching out to me and just being like, hey, what's going on? Your energy's off or whatever, that helps me to believe in myself too. It's just knowing that like people on our team are just outside people that care about us and love us and know that like we do carry a certain confidence, and when it's missing, they can feel it. So right now I think I'm lacking it, but I do believe in myself ultimately 9 times out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. It definitely goes up and down. I think for everybody, if you're always at the top, it's like I need some of that juice. Okay, Cindy Sandbeck.
So yes, I know who Dr. Mitra Ray is, and I've seen herself and her videos. So I think self-belief goes back to your subconscious, and it goes back to things that also have happened to you way back. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes it's hard for me to talk to people. So, and especially with a bunch of people, to get there and talk to a whole bunch of people. So, and it's with different things too. So it's not always one certain thing that your self-belief is in the same area. So sometimes your self-belief is huge in one area, but not so much in another area, where you always shine in one area as you do in another. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pause from asking everybody questions, and I'm going to go into, it's a audio recording. So I'm going to start playing it. And Cindy, if you can give me a thumbs up if you can hear it when I do start it, just to make sure everybody can hear it clearly. And then I'm not going to play the full thing. It's a little over 45 minutes, and I don't want to hold you guys too long, but I'm going to play a good chunk of it and just listen to it. And then I'll also post it in the Voxer after the call tonight. And you guys, I've listened to it 3 times and I keep hearing different things. So I'm going to start this recording.
Well, good evening, everybody. It's Jamie Kinsey, and I am a National Marketing Director with the Juice Plus Company. And this is our last call, week 12 of the Entrepreneurial Academy. And we have had such an amazing last 12 weeks, and I'm so excited to be with many of you upcoming in Anaheim. So tonight is the final of the 4 beliefs, and it, to me, is it was the game changer for me. It was the most important piece. It was it was the major key for me to be able to move my business forward, I would say probably about 5 years ago. And so tonight, I'm going to give you a little bit of a bio about Dr. Mitra Ray, which you may have thought maybe she should have been on our belief in the product side, but she's a research biochemist. She earned her PhD from Stanford. She's worked in cell cell biology, particularly as it relates to cancer, Alzheimer's, and other degenerative diseases. She's been published and has been funded by the National Institutes of Health. So many prestigious accolades she's had in that field, and she's an author. She's written a number of books. She is the developer of the Transform 30 and of the Shred program that we are also passionately using. And even more, I know it's coming down, the pipes from her, and she's gifting us that. And so it seems like she should be talking about the product, but you know what? She, you guys, is, I think, Mitra, one of the top 10 income earners in all of our company. And so she is a very smart businesswoman, and she is somebody that I want to be like. And she's a huge mentor to me. And so that's why we asked her, because she has all of that. How does she build such a massive business? How does she have that business mind too? And when I listen to her, she has such a call to action to go and take what you learned about being brave and getting in the arena and actually go doing something with it. And so, Mitra, I am so excited for you to speak to this group tonight about belief in self, maybe some of your own personal story about that. And I know we're going to be blessed. So thank you for being on with us.
Thank you, Jamie. Well, I admire you and Brian as well. And I say, you are the future of this company. And it's a pleasure for me to do this for your teams. Did you want to ask me any questions, or you want me to just get on a roll?
Well, I guess. Was it pretty easy for you to take that medical mindset and switch it over to business, or was it a process for you as well?
Yeah, I had more of a scientist and engineer's mindset. I don't have a medical degree. I have a PhD, but it's probably worse than being a scientist and academic is probably worse than medical school, as far as just expecting to live my life out. With pretty, I wouldn't say I was looking to make a big income. That was not really my goal in life when Juice Plus fell into my lap. I really was resigned to being doing okay financially, academically. I wasn't doing okay financially at the time. They don't pay researchers that much money, but I was fine with that. I didn't have any issues with that. But when Juice Plus came into my lap, I really saw something that I could not ignore. It just really grabbed me because I realized that research that I was doing with cancer and Alzheimer's was so not to the point. And telling people about fruits and vegetables and the fact that they had put it into capsules, and because I understood the technology existed because I used it myself on cells, I just really was, excited that somebody had decided to do it with plants and food. And so I caught on right away, and the more I shared it with family and friends, it helped my mom drop her blood pressure medications. And so I just felt compelled to share it. But Amy, I got to tell you, I was, my first Juice Plus business meeting I went to, I was scratching my head trying to figure out what the heck this was. I was like, how do you do this? What do you do? It's just massive amounts of confusion. But I was also determined to share it with people. And I was at a point in my life where it was like, I had to make some big decisions because I was about to become a professor and start my own laboratory, and I had all these job offers at universities, and I was going to have to move away from Seattle. And so I thought to myself, well, what if this is it? And what if I have to now go out and get a PhD in network marketing? And so something just, my heart, I was very, very nervous and scared. In fact, I tell people for the first 6 months of this business, I was sharing Juice Plus by day like crazy, but at night I had nightmares. I don't think I got a full night's rest for the first 6 months of my business because I really had so much self-doubt that, what if I failed? And like by day I was playing the game of failure is not an option, but at night my inner fears kind of came up. And I would have these nightmares of not being able to go back to the lab, or all these laboratory scenes where, my colleagues just playing out all these nightmares in my head, all these scenarios. about throwing away my career. And so I had to really dig deep about why I was doing this and what's possible. And so at some point I decided if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it big, because I'm leaving something quite big behind. And a lot of my colleagues were like, I was the one that was supposed to, like my first publication was in Science, which is like the #1 journal in America for publications. And, I had gotten all these awards, and I had kind of a golden career up to that point. So it wasn't a small thing that I was about to leave behind. Okay. So the doubts definitely came in. And, the only thing I had to fall back on, and it sounds crazy, but I tell people this, is that I told myself, when I first applied to Stanford Medical School for my PhD, I had no idea whether they'd accept me or not. I had this gut feeling that they would, but I was actually making the transition from electrical engineering to like this more, but basically the biological sciences, even though it was very biophysics and all that. And I hadn't had a class in biology since 9th grade. So here I was applying to Stanford Medical School without a single course in biology. So, and I remember thinking to myself, I'm just going to give this application everything I got, because something about this place is really calling to me. And I remember taking my first classes. I was so overwhelmed, and I had to read textbooks all night long. Like I was literally do research by day and read textbooks at night, trying to catch up with an entire college education in biology and biochemistry without even taking the courses. I didn't have time to take all the classes. And so I thought to myself, well, I applied myself back then, and I made this incredible transition back then. So I think I can do it again. And all of you listening, there's a success story in your back pocket about your life that you are proud of. There is something you did that you are proud of. And I want to tell you, it's so important to hang on to that and know that when you really put your mind to something, if you succeeded in whatever endeavor that you are proud of, look back on that and notice that failure was not an option. You were just you just knew that it was going to happen. And this is long before I took any personal development classes. Like today, you're reading Brene Brown. There's so many things in our business that people are exposed to. I'm sure many of you are working with Bob Samara and Image and Mars and all of that. And I can't stress enough, if I had that, sooner, I did have it in, I think that's the gift network marketing gave me, is that I plunged myself into personal development courses, which obviously you don't do when you're in academia, and now I think I wish I had personal development stuff when I was in academia, because I would have enjoyed myself a lot more. And today, we have the ability to build a business joyfully. And what I mean by that is that at the end of the day, the only person you have to really be proud of, that needs to be proud of you, is yourself. Because we are our own toughest critics. I firmly believe that. And we don't acknowledge ourselves enough. I also firmly believe that. In fact, I'm sure if you think about it, if you recorded every thought you had about yourself throughout the day, and you substituted, let's say, your child's name for it, or somebody you love, somebody else you love in your life, you'd be appalled about the way you talk to yourself. I think that is, I don't know, Jamie, does that resonate with you at all? Honey, this is what we do. We do not, the words I am and whatever you fill in that blank with determine right now, right here in the present moment, how you activate your brain, how you find solutions to your problem, how resourceful you become, how aware you become of reading somebody else's space, reading somebody else's, how in tune you become when you're in conversation with somebody else, starts with how you feel about yourself. And that's the part people don't get. If you think of other people as perfect mirrors of whatever's going on for you. So if you're having a bad day, you're going to run into other people that are having a bad day. And then you're going to bad date with each other. So I firmly believe starting the mornings out thinking positive is so important. Back then, when I first started my first 6 months, what really saved me is that within 2 months, I had gone to my first conference, and I had a little audio tape recorder, and I recorded Jeff Roberti's close at the conference. And I played that first thing in the morning, and I brainwashed myself with Roberti's words of success. I just said, I have to brainwash myself. Okay, like whatever nightmare I had last night, that's not my future. I have to listen to Jeff. And I would just play that as I was making breakfast. Before I talked to anybody, before I did anything, I listened to Jeff Roberti. And we have so many more tools today.
Good way to start your day.
Yeah. I mean, I know his original training by heart because, I listened to it every day for 6 months, and it finally got under my skin. It just really got under my skin that, for things to change, you got to change. For things to get better, you got to get better. All of that. And I was like, all right, I'm up for this. I'm going to get better. I'm going to become an entrepreneur. I'm going to learn network marketing. I'm going to get my PhD in network marketing. I'm going to read every book out there on network marketing that my upline or people I respect in the industry are recommending to me. And I decided I could do this. Like, the most important decision I made is that I was going to do this. I was going to do it. And we didn't have social media. We had a fax machine, I think. Maybe I didn't even have a fax machine when I first started. Yeah, maybe we did. I can't remember. But we basically, orange boxes, no research, only orchard and garden blend. And I got to NMD in 14 months on Juice Plus because I just totally brainwashed myself that I could be a success story, that I wanted to be a success story. I read all these stories about other people that, like Cheryl Cortese's story and all these other people's story, and I would pretend I was like them. That was the other thing I would do. I would just, if somebody asked me a question I had no clue how to answer it, I would just take a deep breath and go, what would Cheryl say? Or what would Jeff say? Or what would Bob Burdick say? Or what would Sue Burdick say? All the people that I saw on stage, I tried to kind of, mind meld with them in my mind. It was all make pretend, but it worked. So I think that having faith in yourself is either going to make or how you feel about yourself is going to make or break your business. Like we have the most amazing nutritional product line on the planet. There's just no doubt about that. We have a company that's got our back and been around for 4 years that they have never missed paying a distributor their commission check. Like they have paid people billions of dollars, right? And if you pay billions of dollars worth of commission checks to reps since 1970, you can hang your hat with this company. You can hang your hat with this product. You can hang your hat on leaders like Jamie and Brian. You can hang your hat here. You've got access to Bosmera image companies coming out with this incredible personal development program as well. There's no shortage of personal development programs out there for you to learn and grow from. You've got a unique opportunity where this company is going to do $1 billion annually in sales, with or without you. So you have to decide. You have to make a decision. Is it going to be with me or without me? And you have to make a decision, and you have to remind yourself of that every single morning, however you do it, whether it's an affirmation because you've done image work, whether it's listening to some audio tapes that you like, or something that tunes you into your own personal power. There is no limit to human potential. That includes you. That includes you. And the more proud you are of yourself, the more you pat yourself, not false pride, not you know, when you walk into a room with other people, you should be as humble as you can. But when you talk to yourself, you should be as bodacious as you can. You know, you should be like, I am the greatest, like Muhammad Ali. I am the greatest. Why did he say that? Because he had to say it to be who he was. You know, Muhammad Ali, whatever you think about him, one thing I admire about the guy is that he talked himself into being the greatest by claimed it, just grabbed that bull by the horn and said, I am the greatest. You know, so you have to talk to yourself like you are God's gift to network marketing.
All right, guys, so I'm going to stop the recording there. We actually listened to about 15 minutes of Dr. Mitra Ray, and as I don't know what you got from that, but even like once she got started, she's just great. So any takeaways from what she had to say and what you've heard so far?
In general, I mean, like, I got the last bit of it because my children are crazy.
Yeah.
But I wanted to, like, in general, like, the last thought where she was talking about Muhammad Ali and, like, how he basically made himself great. And I'm reading a book right now that talks about that, like, and just, like, the voices in our head. And it's like, we can either, like, negative self-talk all day long and, like, give in to that voice that's constantly in our mind, or we can, like, feel one way and then act the opposite. And so I liked that and what she said about how Muhammad Ali, like, he was saying, like, I'm the greatest, I'm the best. So it's like, even when we don't believe it, we can still say it. You know what I mean? We don't have to be like, oh, I'm the worst. But like for me, in my like circumstance, when people ask me, like, how are you doing? How are things going? I could easily be like, I'm depressed. I'm so sad. I want this, or I'm this way. But instead, I'm like, I'm good. I'm surviving. I'm doing great. I feel great. Like, even if I don't, I can be honest with my feelings, but I don't have to sit there and, like, sulk in the, you know, like, the depression. So it's the same thing for our business. We could say, like, oh, this isn't working out for us, or like, oh, you know, everybody's saying no, or like, how do you get out of this funk, or how do you just talk, like, think one way but act the opposite. So if you're thinking negative, then act the opposite, and then everything else will fall into place. And I mean, obviously it's a lot easier said than done, but I think the more we practice that, the better it will be.
Right. Yeah, I agree. 100%. And actually, she was just getting started in that, in what she was saying, because it truly gets better. Unfortunately, my Zoom is only a certain amount of time, and I don't want to keep you guys, especially with something that you can listen to on your own. So I just definitely wanted to have everybody at least start listening to that, and then take it upon yourself to listen to it maybe more than once. On your own leisure. Cindy, did you have some thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say something towards what Nicole said, and that saying is, what you connect with in mind, you'll connect with in time. So what you keep saying over and over again in your mind will eventually come true. So you keep saying, I can do this, you know, or I am great, or I am going to sell that product, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. You know, whatever you keep saying to yourself in your mind eventually is going to happen. So just keep saying, you know, I'm getting better, I'm doing, you know, whatever you're doing, eventually it's going to happen. So just keep pushing yourself forward and telling yourself how great you are, and eventually it's going to happen. So yeah. That was it.
Awesome. I kind of want to piggyback off of that because, well, first of all, I'm glad that you shared that with us, because it's definitely something I have to remind myself of every day and tell myself every day. And even like I said, I'm only a month in, but like everybody else, I wake up like a crazy person wanting to tell every single body about it. And when you do that so much so, like day after day, you're looking for 2 new people to talk to, 2 new people every single day, and then you know, you probably only get one sale out of those few people, but for me, I haven't got any. And instead of like discouraging myself, I just keep telling myself, I'm just planting these seeds. I'm just planting these seeds. They'll harvest somewhere down the line. I'm just doing what I need to do. They say to get on these calls every day, talk to your upline, read the info, watch videos, and I wake up and I do that every single day. And I like how in the video she said that, you know, she wakes up and watches videos before she goes out and talks to people. So it kind of reassures her how exactly to talk to people, because I think that's something I struggle with, is like just how to go about those casual conversations, like I say. But
right,
that does help me to just wake up and talk to people, and it helps me realize what information that I need to put out there and what information that, you know, I don't really need to talk too much about, because it's going to end up coming out itself anyway. So yeah, definitely positive mind, positive thoughts, positive outcome, and just like stay away from negative thoughts, because I mean, it's all possible. So we just got to stay positive and keep planting our seeds and know that they will harvest one day, someday, whenever.
amen. Amen. Yeah, so I like that. Very good, very good. Anybody else?
I'll say something. Hi, everybody. I haven't been on in such a long time because I've been so discouraged with Juice Plus. Like, I haven't forgot. I've just been so, like, it's not going right. Nobody's buying anything. I keep pitching. So I've been